I'm back with another video. Welcome to your moon in Libra. For those tuning in for the very first time, I'm going to briefly give you an overview of what moon in Libra represents, what moon placement represents. Moon in one's natal chart is the strongest placement in your personal natal chart because it represents your emotions, how you process emotions, how you feel, how you express emotions. And there's two types of moon signs. There's those moons that rationalize emotions, intellectualize emotions, and we call them the rationalist moons or the realist moons. And then there's the other set of moon signs that just feel emotions so intensely that they're not able to rationalize what it is that they're feeling. So today's video on moon in Libra is going to be a fantasist moon. Although moon in Libra individuals, Libra is an air sign. It's an air sign. It does intellectualize emotion. However, because it's so fantasy driven, the sign, it's actually a fantasist moon, especially given how it operates, how people with moon in Libra signs operate. It's actually a fantasist moon. Fantasist moons are those who don't really introspect on their emotions, and Libra isn't like that. Libra has pieces of rationalist moons where they have that superpower that all air moons have to detach easily. While they have that, but they don't necessarily, distance themselves from their emotions and are able to see things clearly. And I'll get into that, what I mean by that, okay? So moon is the strongest placement. It governs your emotions. So it's the strongest placement. When you're younger, your moon sign isn't so evident, but as you get older, your moon sign becomes more prominent. It starts to stand out more. And I think partially the reason it starts to stand out more is because when you grow up, you start to operate on your emotions. When you're younger, you're sort of told by your parents, your surrounding, people in your surrounding, to not feel the way that you are feeling. Your emotions are sort of suppressed by people in your surrounding. But as you get older, you become an adult, you're able to express your emotions more so independently, and that's why your moon placement becomes more prominent as you get older. So let's talk about Libra moon. Libra moons, right? Now, I try to keep my biases at bay because one thing I've learned over these 15 years that I've learned astrology is that every sign brings pros. Every sign has pros and cons, right? That's another thing I learned. I didn't just learn this from astrology. I also learned this through traveling with various different personalities. And I realized that everyone has a strength that they bring to the table, and their strengths offset your weaknesses. So I don't think, even when I say things that will be perceived as negative, it's not necessarily negative because it's just weaknesses that a certain sign has, and then other signs can offset that, the weaknesses, so with their strengths. So just keep in mind that when I'm sharing the negative aspects of a sign, I'm not trying to put that sign down. There's no sign is perfect. Every sign has its pros, its cons. So I share both, and it may not be your preference, but it may be somebody else's preference. So we'll start with what Libra moon is, right? Libra is an air sign ruled by Venus. And when you're ruled by Venus, you want harmony, sensuality in life, beautiful things in life, beauty, harmony, peace. Ironically, the Libra sign is a scale, okay? So picture Libras like a person racing in life, but they're holding a spoon with an egg on it. So what happens is you have Libras going through life with that spoon that has an egg on it. And any slightest inconvenience or conflict will start to bring them off balance. Okay? What do they want? And I made my notes so I don't miss anything. They want balance in life. That's why they have that scale. And to maintain that balance, they want peace in their life. They avoid rudeness. They don't like rudeness. Rudeness, crude behavior, harsh behavior, conflicts will bring them off balance. It will imbalance them. So imagine I'm going through life. Let's say I'm a Libra moon. I'm going through life with my spoon. Somebody's rude to me. Uh-oh, my balance is being shifted. Somebody, shows me poor behavior, right? That's against social norms or rules of social interaction, which they're expert at. If they're very well versed, if there's a rule book out there on social interaction, what's proper, what's not proper, propriety is their strong suit. Okay? Anything social being refined, that is governed by Libra. In Libra, Libra moon people, this is how I identify Libra moon people, by the way. If I come across a person, and this goes both for men and women, if they're charming, if they're laid back, easygoing, they want to have meaningful discussions. And I'm not talking about they don't indulge in gossip and petty conversation. But if somebody wants to talk about ideas and have a meaningful conversation on topical issues, as long as they're not harsh and uncomfortable, bitter reality, it's not about that. They're willing to discuss that with you, because Libra is all about harmony and beauty, right? So as long as the topical issue isn't, some harsh reality of life, Libra moons are very well, very willing to discuss that topic with you, right? So if there's a rule book out there on social interaction and propriety, that's them. They govern that, okay? And because it's everything beautiful, they're attracted to everything beautiful, they don't really handle ugliness or harsh realities of life well. Conflicts can bring them off balance. They don't like conflict. I don't know who's more conflict averse, Pisces moon or Libra moon. I think Pisces moon is Libra moon's ideal match. I know conventional astrology puts them with fire or other air moons, but no, I'm saying this as an Aquarius moon. No, you can put Libra moons with Pisces moon. Both of them are so conflict averse that they'll shove everything under the rug. It puts them off balance. They will avoid conflict at all cost. Okay? So now Libra is this whole conflict averse, right? It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? In life, you can't avoid conflict. Life is not a walk in the park. Personally, I think we're all put on earth to suffer, right? To face hardships. And naturally, you are going to face hardships in life. And hardships can come in various forms, right? Like you losing your job, you facing a belligerent person, and Libras are not cut out for that sort of ugliness, that sort of hardship. They're very sensitive, and for that reason, they're very sensitive. While they're affable and sociable and they can make you feel so comfortable, Libras can really charm you. They're very charming. They'll get people to open up, like random strangers who have their guard up. Libras can bring your walls down. Libra has that capacity. They can make you feel so comfortable And that's where their charm is, by the way. Their charm is that they're so polite and refined, and you can say pretty much anything to them, and they're good listeners. So people open up to them. They give you that vibe, like, we're not judging you. Everybody judges. And like other air moons, and this is the charm of air moons that they have as well, that they can make you feel so comfortable. They make you feel heard. That's Libra moon's sexual appeal. You go to a Libra moon, they will be the perfect therapist. They'll listen to you. They will show you compassion. They'll probably cry with you because they're very sensitive. And they're not going to judge you. But at the back of their mind, and at the back of every air moon, like, every human being judges. They may not be judging you to your face, but they're judging you. So a Libra moon will dedicate exclusive time to you, and you're going to feel so, they'll make you feel important. That's what air moons do. They make you feel heard and important. And everybody likes that. Everybody likes to feel heard. Everyone, you know, when I go out into the world, and I'm saying this as an air moon, it amazes me how thirsty, or how keen people are on talking about themselves and wanting to be heard. I almost like always question this. Like, wow, what kind of partner do you have? Do you not talk to your partner? Like, why are you just grabbing a stranger or a coworker and telling them some of the things that people share? It kind of tells me that sometimes people are in relationships where they're lonely. And air moons appeal, sexual appeal, their charm is in that they make you feel important. They'll ask you questions about you. Like, how was your day? Or someone says, oh, I'm having a bad day. Why are you having a bad day? Tell me about it. Like, who doesn't want to feel important? And so air moons do that. And Libra is, I think, the finest air moon in tact and diplomacy is Libra moon. And the reason Libra moons are like that is because they have this need to be well-liked, which kind of takes away from the honor bit. Libra moons don't hold grudges. They do not. They're very forgiving. And that whole forgiving aspect to them comes from the fact that they want to be well-liked. They're sociable, which is a good thing and which is a bad thing. Depends on how you look at it, right? People who are high on honor and dignity, like, for example, Aquarius moon, I'm going to contrast this, right, between air moons. Aquarius moon is very egoistic and high on honor, and they will not tolerate disrespect, right? If somebody disrespects air moon, like Aquarius moon, their cutoff game is very strong. They'll cut you off. They'll ghost you and they'll cut you off. Libra moon is not that ruthless. Because I told you, Libras are well versed in social etiquette, propriety. So they're not gonna ghost you like that. They'll be so charming. They're the type of people who'll break up with you and say, it's not you, it's me, I have a problem. Or they'll lie to you about something. Like, they'll make a really good excuse just so they don't look bad, right? So Libra moons, because they have this intense need to be liked, and they are soft-hearted, they are compassionate, right? And because they're compassionate and they're soft-hearted and they wouldn't want someone to break their heart like that, they try to be considerate, right? At least they aspire to be considerate. What they do behind your back, when I get to the negative part, that's when I'll talk about this. But they aspire to be considerate. They aspire to be good and be nice, right? They try to play nice with people because they want to be well-liked. They don't want a conflict. They don't want to come across as a rude, obnoxious person, right? It's an image thing, right? It's not just an image thing. It's also, they're soft-hearted individuals, right? And they just want to have a good time, right? Libra moons just want to have a good time. They don't want any ugliness to their social interactions. So they're like that, right? But as with every human being. Just because you're entertaining a person doesn't mean you agree with everything that they're saying. So while a Libra moon can entertain you well, you know, your social interaction with a Libra moon will go really well and it'll make you feel heard, and all of that is fine and dandy. A Libra moon will not necessarily voice their true opinion on something to avoid rocking the boat. If they feel the person across from them is very passionate about the topic they're talking about, and they see this person getting really upset by what Libra moon actually thinks, the Libra moon native actually thinks about that topic, they're gonna not say it, because Libra moon doesn't wanna, they wanna avoid any ugliness that may come into that interaction. And they don't want this other person to not like them. So Libra moons can avoid, they kind of avoid things like that. And that can be perceived as two-faced, duplicitous behavior from them, which I'm personally not a fan of. I'm an air moon too, but I'm like complete opposite in that way, right? Libra moons are nicer people. So they don't want to ruffle feathers. So they'll just appease you. But as with every human being, just because they're agreeing to your face doesn't mean that's how they genuinely feel about you. And so there's that need to avoid conflict. There's that need to avoid like ruffling feathers. There's that need to be well liked. So what they do is they'll actually go behind the person's back and actually say what they're actually feeling, which can come across as duplicitous, two-faced, and people may not like them for that reason. So enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about intellectualizing emotions, which is an air component. As with every air moon, air moons and earth moons, they introspect on their emotions. Why am I feeling this way? You know, I just did this. Why did I do that? And those who intellectualize emotions, they are the ones that are perceived as cold because they have this superpower that I call detachment. It's amazing. It's amazing. It truly is a superpower to be able to disconnect from your emotions. And I'm going to give you a fine example. I can actually psychoanalyze this because I have this superpower and it's so weird how it works. So I met a person, and I'm an air moon. I'm a good listener too. And I can make people feel comfortable. And then they're divulging things. And then when they're divulging things, they go a little too far and they think I'm not judging them. I'm a human being. At the end of the day, I judge as well. Every human being judges. When people are, being forthright with me, being candid with me, yes, I'm not judging. They feel comfortable with me because I'm not to their face telling them that was disgusting, right? I'm like assessing them. So I'll quietly listen. And that's what Libra moons do as well. They'll quietly listen. And then depending on what's said, if what's being said is incredibly immoral or really wrong, going by the fact that I'm an Aquarius moon, I'll probably punk that person off to their face. But depending on what's being said, but for the most part, like Libra moons, I'll listen to that as well. But then what ends up happening is if people are divulging information to me that is off-putting, I'm so repulsed that literally when the door closes or when I walk away from these people, I immediately disconnect. It's amazing. I immediately disconnect. And this person who I was talking to, they're probably thinking, oh, we just bonded. And tomorrow when I see her, we're going to chit chat again. No, we're not. Because now I know all the information I needed to know and I'm put off by you and we're not chit chatting again. And here's that air moon detachment, and Libra moons have it too. Libra moons can detach like that. And so people are confused. They're befuddled. They're like, we just had such a great conversation. This Libra moons can go a little far, like a little, not a little, but they go really far in charming people. This is the difference between other air moons and Libra moons. Gemini moons, they'll chit chat you similar to an Aquarius moon. They'll chit chat. They'll talk with you about everything under the sun, right? And they'll make you feel heard like a typical air moon, right? The reason, the thing that sets Gemini and Aquarius moon apart from Libra is that Libra will be complimenting you along the way and leading you on into thinking that they have a crush on you. This is why a lot of times people think, oh, that Libra moon person was coming on to me, or they like me. And because it's like they get personal, they'll start to compliment like personal aspects of a person. My sister's a Libra moon. And I've had a lot of Libra moon male friends in the past. I've cussed off a lot of my Libra moon male and female friends in the past. And I'll tell you why I do that, because I've seen their interactions. I mean, I used to think they call themselves friendly, but they're not friendly. Friendly is me. When I'm friendly, I'm being nice to people, I'm being polite. I don't sit there and get personal with people and start to compliment them or start to tell them like, oh, you're so attractive, or how many sisters do you have? Or, you know, Libra moons actually start to flirt. They start to get personal with the person, and then that person is thinking, wow, Libra moon really like me, they're interested in me. And then the next day, because Libra moon has assessed you now, and they're also put off by something you've said, they're gonna ghost you too. They're detached as well. And the other person's like, what the hell? They were complimenting me, they really like me. Whereas if a person was to introspect Gemini moon and Aquarius moon's interaction, they're gonna be like, well, when I think about it, they didn't really ask me anything about me, and it wasn't romantic in nature. So maybe I said something and it put them off. You know, they weren't exactly coming on too strong. Whereas a Libra moon can come on strong in their friendliness. They flirt. Gemini moon and Aquarius moon just wouldn't do that, because Aquarius moon is too uppity. Aquarius moon is too uppity to do that. They have that God complex. They can be snobbish. They can be distant. They don't like getting too personal with people, right? So Aquarius moon wouldn't do that. And Gemini moon, they'll be chit-chatty and they just want to have a good time, because Gemini is all about fun and social behavior. They just want to be social. Whereas Libras, because they're the perfect host, right? So they want to make you feel good. They'll like start complimenting you, and they'll make that conversation personal, and the person will be like, wow, they have a crush on me. And the next day, Libra's like detached, and the person's confused, like, what? They were complimenting me, they told me I have nice hair, and it just disappeared. So they have that detachment because they can intellectualize emotions. They're like other air moons that way, right? And then this is where that shady behavior comes in, right? Because Libras are too nice to tell you what they're actually feeling. They don't want to break your heart. So they'll resort to shady antics behind your back because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to face a conflict, right? I mentioned at the beginning, they will avoid conflict by any means necessary. They will avoid ugliness or any harshness by any means necessary. And so what they will do is, to avoid hurting somebody's feeling, they will omit the truth. They'll just go behind your back and do shady things. Instead of, which I like have a big problem with for Libra moons, because how hard is it? Like, you do it, it's self-motivated. It's all about you and you not wanting to come across as bad. Although they tell themselves to feel better, they tell themselves that I did it because I didn't want to make this person cry. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But no, it's not about that. It's about, deep down, Libra moon doesn't want to take their responsibility in leading that person on. Libra moon people do come on strong in that friendliness. They are flirtatious. They do come on strong. They do tend to lead people on, and people do they do misinterpret, and rightfully so, their friendliness, because it is flirting, and people misinterpret that, and then when there's a confrontation, a rightful confrontation coming from the opposite person, Libra doesn't want to face that. They were just having a good time and they were harmlessly flirting with you. Too bad you saw too much into it. And so now Libra doesn't want to tell you the truth because you're probably going to yell at them. And rightfully so, you feel led on. And so Libra just disappears and ghosts, or they'll like tell you lies. Maybe they're already like seeing somebody, but they'll be like, oh yeah, like, you know, they'll lie to you because they don't want to look like the bad guy. Libra moons can be so shady for this reason. Shady. And that whole, the entire shadiness is stemming from the fact that they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to face responsibility for their actions. They don't want to get cussed off. They don't, because you know, they deep down do know that they have a part to play in what's coming their way, right? When I said that they try to be considerate, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, while they try to be considerate, while they try to be a nice person, they are guilty of being instigators and doing things that warrant a confrontation or conflict. I'll give you a fine example. Libra moons are not very strong with, let's say, punctuality, okay? A lot of my Libra moon friends are not punctual. And now I'm raised by a Capricorn mother, I'm punctual. One of them heard it from me really bad. Because one of my pet peeves is when people take other people's time for granted and make them wait more than 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. You should get yelled at if you have to make people if you are not punctual, you take other people's time for granted, you should get punked off. And Libra moons, they're spontaneous people. Planning is not their strong suit. Planning and being organized is not Libra moon's strong suit. So if you're an organized person, I mean, Libra moon would be a Capricorn individual's nightmare, a Virgo's nightmare. So anyone who's like time-centered, you know, time-centric, and like punctuality is very important to them, or, you know, they're very organized, like Libra moon are scatterbrained. So they, like, these people would be really annoyed by Libra moon. So they don't run on time. They like to keep their plans open, because sometimes if a better plan comes forward, they want to ditch the boring plan, or like the less important plan. They want to ditch that and go for the better plan. So they try to keep their options open, and they do that with people too. This is why I said they're shady. They're shady because they like to keep their options open. And the reason they like to keep their options open is because they're indecisive. They're famous for being indecisive. And because they're indecisive, they also want to have lots of options. In people, in romantic prospects, they always have people on the shelf. They're always chatting somebody up, because they don't do well single. Being single causes an imbalance. It's a sign of balance. To be balanced, they have to have a person in their life. They may not necessarily have like a stable girlfriend or boyfriend or a partner, but they're never truly single. They're always chatting somebody up, leading someone on into thinking that they're in a relationship with them, because they don't do well single. It causes depression. It's very disquieting for them to be single. So they always have options, and because it's a social sign, they always keep their social plans like open. If a better social activity comes forward, they're gonna ditch the other one. I think I've cussed off all Libra moons for this. All my Libra moon friends have gotten cussed off for this, rightfully so. I have no remorse for this. Should get cussed off. So they don't work. They're not organized. They're not timely, right? They're not punctual. I'm going somewhere with this. Basically, Libra moons will run on time. They'll commit to you, and then you're sitting there waiting for them. Now, a Libra moon had committed to taking me somewhere. That didn't happen. This Libra moon slept in. Then obviously they knew there's a confrontation coming, because they know me. They know that's my pet peeve. They know there's a confrontation coming, so they hid like a coward. and that irked me even more. That like now I'm not even getting a sorry, not even an apology. So they hid like a coward. But then I caught them. Same day I caught them in the parking lot, and they thought that, you know, we're in public, so I'm not gonna hear about it. No, I grabbed them in public and I cussed them off. They got an earful from me. That's my biggest pet peeve. You don't take other people's time for granted, and you definitely should take responsibility for your actions. And I'm giving you a fine example of this. I'll tell you then what the reaction was, because that's where I'm headed. This is their flaw. They're the biggest victims in life. This is why they'll get along really well with Cancers as well. Contrary to conventional astrology that says they won't get along with Cancer, they will get along with Cancer because they're also victims. They don't want to take responsibility for their actions. So despite the fact, now Libra moons expect you to be, when you have a conflict, to come forward with civility. That's not everybody's style. Some people don't feel like you're owed civility after what you just pulled. I will not owe someone like that civility. You're gonna get straight swearing from me. So, and I wasn't gonna, you know, calmly talk about this conflict. I was irked beyond anything. So I grabbed this person and I yelled at them. They got an earful. And what was the response after that earful? You're being mean. And at that point, I was like, do you want me to swear at you? Because all this time, I haven't sweared at this person. So I haven't said a single expletive when I all this time. But when I hear something like this, like you're being mean, that tells me that this person doesn't want to take responsibility. And time again, I've seen this from Libra moons. When Libra moons get yelled at or they're confronted with something because they did something wrong, instead of apologizing and taking responsibility, Libra moons will be like, you were being mean, or I was scared I was gonna get yelled at. Well, if you did something bad, then be strong and face it, right? Like when I do something bad and I know I'm gonna get a reaction from someone, I sit quietly and I take it because I deserve it. These people will avoid it. They'll run away, they'll hide somewhere. And then when you do grab them, and now at this point you're more irked than before, then it's like, you're being mean. You're hurting my feelings. You know, the diva behavior is off the charts on this one. So Libra, you have to work on that. I don't know how you're gonna work on that. You need to start taking responsibility. If you do something bad, you need to first apologize, and then, or let's say if a person is being upset with you and they're, you know, not being really nice to you, then take it because it's warranted. They have a very difficult time expressing anger and frustration themselves because it's a sign that is cerebral that way, like every air moon. So if you've ever seen a Libra moon angry, they lose it. It's on a different extreme because they seldom do lose their tempers. And so when they do lose their temper, insanity. It's actually close to the kind of, they lose control the way Cancer, like water moons do. Because Libras don't know how to process emotions. A lot of air moons don't know how to process emotions. So when they seldom do lose their temper because they intellectualize emotion, they rationalize. They don't like being angry. These are happy signs. Air moons are happy signs. They don't like being angry. They shun emotions. And so when they do get angry, they lose control. They try not to. 34 minutes in, guys. I wanted to say one more thing. Their need for justice, right? Very strong. Like this is the sign of justice, fairness. If they ever feel slighted by a person, they feel like the other person wasn't fair. That's where Libra moons don't cut people off. They don't cut people off. They want everybody to hold hands and sing kumbaya. Like it's a very sociable sign, right? They are forgiving. They don't hold grudges. They're like the good air moon that way. They don't hold grudges. This can come across, like I've often heard people say, like, Libra moons have no dignity. They have no, they're not proud at all. They have no backbone. It depends on how you see it, right? Libra moons just want to get along with everyone. They want to be friends with anybody. So even if Libra, you come and you do something wrong to Libra and you say sorry, Libra moons will befriend you again. They don't hold grudges. It's a happy sign, social sign, right? Last thing is, they do, Libra moons, because it's a sign of relationships, right? And I mentioned before that they don't do well to be single. And so a lot of times an unevolved Libra moon person can be in a relationship for the sake of relationship. So they're guilty of doing placeholder relationships. People who do placeholder relationships, and anyone who does this irrespective of signs, anyone who does placeholder relationships because they don't want to be single, they want to be alone, they're guilty. They're very prone to cheating, because when a person that they genuinely like comes forward, guess what? The placeholder is gone. They see basically anyone Libra moon is interested in, or anyone that's interested in Libra moon, even if the Libra moon person is not genuinely romantically interested in you, Libra moon sees all of those people as void fillers. You're a void filler, you're a void filler. I'll keep you on my shelf for my, hard days when I'm single, or if I ever get dumped by somebody, or I don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're gonna be my placeholder. And so a lot of people have that grouse with Libra moon that, they just threw me aside when they got a better prospect, because it's not a sign that does well to be single. Anyways, 36 minutes in, guys. I have to end it now. It can't be too long. So anyways, until next time, guys, take care. Bye now.